Good morning, guys. I hope you have solved the problem which I given you yesterday. It's a simple problem, little bit tricky. If you do not find, if you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime. Take my number 94497236686. Repeat 94497236686. You can contact me on phone or even on WhatsApp. Now let me begin again with the average velocity. As we have studied earlier, it is a ratio of total displacement to the total time taken. Total displacement is calculated as change in position in a given direction, change in position in a given direction, which is calculated as xf minus xi, and time taken is tf minus ti. Therefore, the V average is equal to xf minus xi divided by tf minus ti, where xi stands for initial position at time ti, xf stands for final position at time tf. Xi initial position at time ti, xf final position at time tf. Now, similarly, average speed is also defined as total distance by total time taken. The only difference between average velocity and average speed is that in the average speed we calculate total distance by total time taken. In the average velocity, total displacement by total time taken. So remember, average speed will be greater than the magnitude of average velocity. Average speed will be always greater than magnitude of average velocity. At the most, average speed will be equal to magnitude of average velocity if and only if the body or a vehicle moves in a straight path without changing its direction, then average speed and average velocity will be same. Okay. Now, graphical study of motion. First, let us see the position time graph. The position time graph of four objects or four vehicles are mentioned here. Four graphs are there. The first one is position time graph of an object at rest. Why is it at rest? If you look at the graph, the position does not change at all. As time is increasing, the position is taking the same value. Therefore, if you draw the position time graph, if the graph line, if the straight line is parallel to time axis, it means what? It is stationary. It is at rest. The position doesn't change at all. So the body is at rest. The second one is position time graph for an object which is increasing its position with respect to time. You can see the position is increasing with respect to time. So it means the object is moving along positive x-axis, and if you take the change in position, the change in position is a displacement. If there is an equal displacement covered in equal intervals of time, then we have defined it as uniform velocity. And here the displacement is positive, therefore the velocity is also positive, and the velocity is uniform and is constant. So it is a straight line, increasing straight line, therefore velocity is positive. Now look at the third graph. In the third graph, it is also straight line graph, but it is a decreasing straight line graph. If you look at the graph carefully, the position is at time t equal to 0, the position is maximum. Xf is maximum. At time t equal to 0, Xf is going to be 0. Means the vehicle or the object is returning back. It is coming back. So here also, if you observe carefully, there is a equal amount of displacement in equal intervals of time. But what is happening? Displacement is negative. Displacement is not positive. Displacement is negative. Because for every final position and initial position, when you compare, the initial position is of higher value than the final position. So if you take xf minus xi, it is always negative. Therefore, it represents the negative velocity. It is also uniform motion, but velocity is negative. Means what? Velocity negative doesn't represent the velocity is decreasing. No. Velocity is negative means the vehicle is coming back to initial position. So it represents the direction. Velocity is positive means it is moving away. Velocity is negative, it is coming back. So that is the difference. The fourth graph represents the position time graph, and here the graph is not a straight line. It is a curve. So when the graph is not straight line, when the position time graph is not straight line, remember it is non-uniform motion. The motion is not uniform. Therefore, we say another term when there is a non-uniform motion, when there is no equal amount of displacement in equal intervals of time, then there is a varying speed. And there is a varying speed, it is called as accelerating. The body is under acceleration. Now here one more term is used, slope. Slope is again a mathematical quantity. It is a change in y position to the corresponding change in x position, delta y by delta x. In this case of graphs, it is a delta x by delta t. For all these graphs, when you calculate delta x by delta t, it will be a different value. For the first graph, if you calculate delta x, that is change in y position, change in position axis divided by change in time axis, it is 0 in the first case. In the second case, if you observe delta x by delta t, if you calculate, it's going to be positive and it is constant. It is a positive and it's constant. So it is a uniform velocity which is positive. Third one, if you look at it, the slope is negative. If you calculate delta x by delta t, delta x is going to be negative. Therefore, slope is negative. And of course, it is a constant value. It is also uniform motion, but it is having negative slope. Thus, it represents negative velocity. The fourth one, the slope is not constant. If you go on calculating for any two intervals of time, shorter and shorter intervals of time, and if you go on calculating, the slope is increasing. The slope is increasing means the velocity is increasing. So whenever there is an increase in velocity in given interval of time, then whenever there is an increase in velocity in the intervals of time, then it represents acceleration. Now let us define what is instantaneous velocity. In simple terms, velocity of an object at that instant of time is called as instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity is also defined as velocity at a given instant of time. To give you an example, when you are riding a bike or if you are in a vehicle such as a car, there is a speedometer. When you look at the speedometer, when you are driving or when you are riding, when you just increase the accelerator, the pointer goes on showing increase in velocity, increase in speed, not velocity, increase in speed. It may show you 20, 25, 30, 34 as you go on increasing the accelerator. When you reduce the speed, means when you apply the brakes or when you apply the change the gear and see, you will find that there is a decrease in speed. The pointer goes on reducing. So that pointer in the speedometer shows instantaneous speed. So instantaneous speed and instantaneous velocity, there is no much difference. Both are same. Only difference is the instantaneous velocity has a direction. So velocity of a vehicle at a given instant of time is called instantaneous velocity. Of course, it is also measured in meter per second, and the instantaneous velocity can be understood using this mathematical quantity. Instantaneous velocity. Before we learn instantaneous velocity, let us know again, let us recall what is average velocity. Average velocity is delta x by delta t, where delta x, as I told you, represents change in position and delta t represents change in time for that change in position. Delta x by delta t, that ratio gives you total displacement divided by total time taken. Now V instantaneous at any given instant of time, is defined as limiting value of average velocity as time interval delta t tends to 0. Repeat, instantaneous velocity is defined as limiting value of average velocity as time interval delta t tends to 0. So average velocity delta x by delta t, if you look at it, then it becomes limit delta x by delta t as time interval t tends to 0 is equal to dx by dt. So this limit is an operator which you are going to learn in calculus once again. Calculus will be taught in maths. So limit delta x by delta t as delta t tends to 0. The meaning of this is represented as del dx by dt. There is definitely a difference between delta x by delta t and dx by delta t. Dx by dt. Delta x by delta t represents average velocity. Dx by dt represents instantaneous velocity. See what is the difference. Delta x is a considerable average, considerable large displacement. Dx is infinitesimal displacement, and delta t is a considerable large time interval. Dt is infinitesimal time interval. Okay, what is the meaning of that? We'll understand with the help of graph again. So mathematically, instantaneous velocity or velocity, instantaneous velocity or velocity is referred to as derivative of position x with respect to time t. Derivative of position x with respect to time t. It is a dx by dt. D by dt is an operator. It is called as differential coefficient. Differential coefficient of position with respect to time t is taken as v instantaneous. Now let us see the graph. We'll understand the instantaneous velocity from this graph. As I said earlier, the curve, the position versus time graph, if it is a curve, then it represents non-uniform motion. Means the speed of the vehicle is not constant. It is going on increasing. If you look at the graph, the position is increasing non-linearly. Therefore, if you look at the speed is also not uniform. The speed is also increasing. So if I want to find out speed at any given instant of time, then let me choose the point P. Point P, if you look at the graph, point P is the point where I want to find out instantaneous velocity. So for that, I have to choose time interval delta t and position change in position delta x. So first I will find out average velocity. Average velocity is found out as delta x by delta t. From the graph, look at it, first graph. So first I will choose the time intervals t1 and t2 such that t1 and t2 are taken around the point P such that the difference t2 minus t1 is one time interval around that point P. So let me take t2 minus t1 as 2 seconds. So delta t, t2 minus t1 becomes 2 seconds. Now the corresponding delta x gives you AB, the corresponding delta x of course it is a giving you the perpendicular component, and AB gives you the displacement. AB gives you displacement. So now when you calculate the average velocity is calculated as delta x by delta t. Next I am going to reduce that time interval delta t, t2 minus t1 to 1 second. Then we are approaching closer and closer to point P. When t2 minus t1 is reduced to 1 second, A and B will be closer to point P, around point P, closer. Then again we find out what is that delta x corresponding to that delta t tending to 1 second, delta t equal to 1 second. So in the next step, delta t is now reduced to uh, half second, from 1 second to half second. Again point A and B will be still closer to point B. point A and B will be still closer to point B. So now delta t is reduced to 0.5 second. In the next step, delta t is reduced to 0.1 second. Again A and B will be still closer. And next step, delta t will be reduced to 0.01 second. It will be A and B will be still closer to point P. Means as you go on reducing the time interval delta t from 2 to 1, 1 to 0.5, 0.5 to 0.1 second, 0.1 to 0.01 second, 0.01 second to 0.001 second, 0.001 second to 0.0001 second. You are reducing the time interval to a smaller and smaller value. This is what is called as timing delta t tending to 0. For that timing delta t tending to 0, what is the corresponding value of displacement delta x? If you find out and take the ratio, if you take that ratio, that gives you dx by dt. dt is infinitesimally small time interval and dx is infinitesimal small displacement. That ratio dx by dt gives you instantaneous velocity at that point P. So if you go on looking at that AB for different time intervals, AB is coming closer and closer to the point P, and AB is going to be tangential at that point P. So AB gives you tangential at that point P, and tangential point direction at that point P gives you direction of instantaneous velocity at that point P. So instantaneous velocity P at point P, instantaneous velocity at point P is equal to dx by dt, which is tangential at that point P. Now let us look at, okay, let us look at this example. Example number 1. A car is in motion. The position of a car is function of time t. Xt is equal to 15 plus 2t square. Look at the example. X as a function of time t equal to 15 plus 2t square. You are asked to calculate the average velocity between time interval 3 seconds and 7 seconds. So initial time is 3 seconds and final time is 7 seconds. So for that we should know what is initial position xi. Xi means x at 3 seconds. Substitute the value of t in the given equation, t equal to 3 seconds. Then we get x at time t equal to 3 seconds is equal to 15 plus 2 into 3 square. 3 square is 9. 9 into 2 becomes 18. Therefore, 15 plus 18, it becomes 33. Similarly, x at final position, xf at time t equal to 7 seconds is equal to 15 plus 2 into 7 square. 7 square is 49. So 49 into 2 is 98. 98 plus 15 gives you 113. So xf is 113, xi is 33, tf is 7, ti is 3. So tf minus ti is 7 minus 3, that is 4. So V average is equal to x7 minus x3 divided by 7 minus 3. It gives you 113 minus 33. That is 113 minus 33. If you take the difference, it becomes 80. 80 divided by 4 gives you 20 meter per second. So you can see here the SI unit is meter per second. Okay, now let us see the next problem. That is calculation of instantaneous velocity. Now position of a particle is given by x equal to 5t square. X is again function of time t such that xt is equal to 5t square. You are asked to find out instantaneous velocity at time t equal to 3 seconds. Then by definition, as I said, v is equal to dx by dt. So how is that dx by dt carried out? So for that there is one equation that I will tell you in the next slide. So dx by dt, if you carry out, it becomes 5 into 2 into t raised to 2 minus 1. So it becomes 5 into 2 into t. So dx by dt becomes 10t. So again velocity is still function of time t. So at time t equal to 3 seconds, if you substitute, then 5 into uh, 5 into 2, 10 t, 10 into 3, it becomes 30 meter per second. What is that standard equation for finding the dx by dt? Let us see. So you must remember this equation. Y equal to x raised to n. If y is function of x such that y is equal to x raised to n, then if you differentiate y with respect to x, it is called derivative of y with respect to x. Differentiating y with respect to x, dy by dx, gives you n into x raised to n minus 1. This, how is it derived and all, you are going to learn in 12th class. In physics, we are taking that application directly and solving the problems of mechanics. Dy by dx is equal to n x raised to n minus 1, where n takes the value of any positive or negative integer except n is not equal to minus 1, except n is equal to minus 1. Means if n is equal to minus 1, this equation is not valid. We follow another equation that will take it whenever we get into the problems of that nature later. Now let us take the example of x equal to 5t square, and here the value of n is 2. Therefore dx by dt gives you 5 into 2 into t raised to 2 minus 1, because n is 2. Therefore 5 into 2 becomes 10. 10 into t raised to 2 minus 1, so it becomes 10t. So when you put t equal to 3, it becomes 10 into 3, 30 seconds. Now quickly look into the example second. This is also similar problem. The position of an object moving along x-axis is given by x equal to a plus bt square, where a is 8.5 and b is 2.5. T is measured in seconds. What is the velocity at time t equal to 0 second and time t equal to 2 second? Second problem is what is the average velocity between 2 seconds and 4 seconds. Okay. Now what is velocity? As I said you, it is dx by dt. So we know x equal to a plus bt square. Given equation is x equal to a plus bt square. So differentiating x with respect to time t, we write dx by dt. Dx by dt is equal to d by dt of a plus bt square. So d by dt of a is a constant. So differentiation of constant becomes 0, plus differentiation of bt square. B is a coefficient constant, you keep it as it is. So t is raised to 2. So again n takes the value 2. So it becomes 2 into t raised to 2 minus 1. So it becomes 2t. So it becomes 5 into 2t. Thus 5 2s are 2.5 into 2t. 2 into bt. So 2 into bt is 2 into 2.5 into t, where b is 2.5. So it becomes 5t. So velocity at 3 second, sorry, velocity at 0 second now becomes definitely 5 into 0, 0. Velocity at 2 seconds, it becomes 5 into 2, that is 10 seconds. This is how we find out instantaneous velocity at 2 second, instantaneous velocity at 0 second. So definitely it is having different velocities. Now second part of the problem is calculating average velocity. As we did earlier, average velocity is between interval of time 4 to 2 seconds, that is 2 to 4 seconds. Final timing is 4 seconds, initial timing is 2 seconds. So time interval delta t is equal to 4 minus 2, that is 2, and xf minus xi we have to calculate. X at 4 second minus x at 2 second, that is the numerator. If you substitute in the equation, x at 4 second, a plus b into 4 square, 4 square is 16, so a plus 16b minus a plus 4b, because t square is 2 square, so it becomes 4b. A plus 4b. So if you simplify, it becomes a getting cancelled. 16 minus 4, it becomes 12. 12 divided by 6. 12 divided by 6 gives us 6. 6b. And we know b value as given in the problem 2.5. So it becomes 6 into 2.5, that is 15 meters per second. So carefully solve these problems once again, and if you have doubt, please ask me to my phone number. Thank you. See you.